I sat with Emma in her living room, laughing at a joke. Emma was my girlfriend, or so everyone thought. Even as we chatted, I could feel someone's gaze burning into me. Without turning, I knew it was Liam, Emma's brother. Needing some air to clear my head, I decided to step outside. Everything happened around me was driving me crazy. Lost in thought, I didn't pay attention to where I was stepping. Suddenly, I felt myself falling. Instinctively, I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for impact. But instead of hitting the floor, I landed on something soft. My lips collided with something warm. My eyes flew open in shock. It was Liam. In that mortifying instant, I realized I had done the one thing I never should have. Kissed Liam. A few months ago. I took a deep breath before stepping into the living room. Today, I was finally going to tell my parents I was gay. College was going well, and I hoped they'd understand. "Hello, Mom and Dad," I greeted, forcing a smile. "We were just talking about you," my mom said warmly. "Really? About what?" "Your college. We've heard you're doing well," she replied proudly. I sat down, nerves bubbling. "Actually, there's something I need to tell you." "Go ahead, son," my dad said, encouraging me. Taking a deep breath, I said, "I'm gay. I've known since high school, but I only decided to come out now." For a moment, I thought they'd be understanding, but their faces froze with disgust and shock. My dad's voice thundered. "What kind of joke is this, Noah?" "It's not a joke, Dad, it's the truth," I said, trying to stay calm. "How could my son be—" My mom trailed off. "Mom, please," I reached out, but she recoiled. "Do not touch me," she snapped. My heart sank as I turned to my dad, who looked at me with disappointment. My mom muttered, "Maybe there's still a way out." What do you mean?" I stammered, panic rising. "Don't worry, son. You'll find out soon enough," she said, with a glint in her eye. "It's for your own good." My stomach twisted. What were they planning? And how could I change their minds? A few weeks later. In the following weeks, my parents tried everything. Bribes, talks, even threats. But I refused to give in. They hadn't disowned me yet, though I considered running away. The thought terrified me, and I didn't want to cut ties completely. One day, I overheard my mom whisper, "Do you think we should take him to conversion therapy?" "He's our son, Martha. That would be too drastic," my dad replied. I was stunned. These were the same parents who supported me, now treating me like I was broken. "I have a plan," my dad said, his voice too low for me to hear. Later, they called me into the living room. My dad looked serious. "We've decided to set you up with a girl." I was shocked. "What? Why?" "It'll help you realize you're not gay," my mom said gently. I felt anger rise. "And you think I'll just agree?" "You will," my dad snapped, "or we'll stop paying for your college." "Noah, you'll like Emma," my mom added. "She's a sweet girl, and we're friends with her parents." After hours of arguing, I caved. They promised to stop controlling my life if I went along with it. But as I watched them take control of my life, I felt the weight of my helplessness settle in. A few days later. A few days ago, I met Emma. Initially, I was reluctant to talk to her, but her friendly nature quickly drew me in, and we ended up becoming good friends. It was her idea to fake date each other to keep our parents off our backs. Emma's mom kept pressuring her to date wealthy guys she knew, hoping to secure a bright future for Emma. Wanting a break from all the setups, I became her last resort after I confided in her that I was gay. I slumped onto the couch, groaning. "Do you think your parents bought it this time?" Emma sat beside me, grinning. "Are you kidding? My mom was practically planning our wedding. You should have seen her face when you called me babe." I buried my face in my hands, groaning louder. "I hate this. Why did we think this would work?" "Because it is working," Emma said, nudging me. "Admit it, I'm the best fake girlfriend you could have asked for." I peeked at her smug grin. "You're insufferable. And yet, here you are, relying on me to save your butt. Again." She grabbed some popcorn and tossed a piece in her mouth. "Seriously, though," I said, sitting up. "Thanks. You didn't have to do this, but you did, and I don't know what I'd do without you." Emma's teasing smirk softened into a warm smile. "Hey, you're my friend. And honestly, pretending to date you is better than my mom trying to set me up with every rich guy in town. You're much better than all those rich jerks I've dated." Glad I could be of service, I said dryly, grabbing some popcorn. I just wish we didn't have to do this. Emma's expression turned thoughtful. Yeah, I get it. It sucks pretending to be something you're not just to keep everyone happy. I nodded. Sometimes I think about coming clean, telling everyone the truth and dealing with the fallout. Emma put a hand on my shoulder. For what it's worth, I think you're braver than you give yourself credit for. And until you're ready, I've got your back, and I know you've got mine, no matter what. A small smile tugged at my lips. Thanks, Emma. You're a pretty great fake girlfriend. She grinned, squeezing my shoulder before pulling away. And don't you forget it. 1 week later. I had been spending more time at Emma's house than my own lately, enjoying the relief of escaping my parents' judgment. Being around Emma, who was so supportive, made it even better. For the past few days, she hadn't stopped talking about her older brother, Liam, who was coming home today. Her praise of him made it feel like I was about to meet royalty, and I couldn't deny my curiosity. Liam! Emma shouted as the door opened, practically launching herself into the arms of a tall man with messy blonde hair. I froze. Liam was stunning. His golden hair fell effortlessly over his eyes, and his striking blue eyes locked on mine as he smiled. Hey, Emma, miss me? He said, chuckling. Then his gaze shifted to me. Who's this? Liam asked, his tone light but curious. Emma pulled back from the hug. Oh, this is Noah, my, boyfriend, she said with a playful smirk. Boyfriend, huh? Liam raised an eyebrow, his gaze lingering on me. I swallowed hard. Yeah, nice to meet you, Liam. I extended my hand, hoping my voice didn't betray my nerves. Liam's handshake was firm, his skin warm. Nice to meet you too, Noah. Emma's been holding out on me. She never mentioned how handsome her boyfriend is. I blinked, caught off guard, as his teasing smile widened. Emma rolled her eyes, shoving him lightly. Don't start, Liam, she warned. I nervously laughed as he moved past us and disappeared into the kitchen. As soon as he was out of earshot, Emma smacked my arm. Why are you blushing? She teased. I'm not blushing, I protested, though my burning cheeks betrayed me. Emma laughed. Oh, Noah, you've got it bad already. No, I don't, I insisted, but my voice cracked, making her laugh even harder. I groaned, burying my face in my hands. This was going to be a long day. Another week later. It had been a week since Liam came home, and somehow he'd easily slipped into my routine. Today, Emma left to meet her friends, leaving me and Liam alone. Alright, Noah, Liam said, walking into the living room with a grin and a deck of cards. Let's play a game. I glanced up from my phone. What kind of game? Poker, he said, flopping onto the couch next to me. I laughed. Do I look like I know how to play poker? Perfect, he smirked. Easier for me to win. I rolled my eyes but smiled. Fine, teach me. As he explained the rules, I struggled to focus, his voice smooth and every brush of his arm distracting me. You're not paying attention, are you? He asked, his smile teasing. What? I am, I stammered, face heating up. Sure, he said, leaning back. Your poker face is giving you away. I groaned and dropped my cards. Okay, fine, I suck at this. You're not that bad, he laughed. How about something simpler? Like what? I asked warily. 20 questions, he said with a mischievous smile. I narrowed my eyes. That sounds like a trap. Only if you got something to hide, he replied, leaning forward. I hesitated but nodded. Alright, you go first. He thought for a moment. Why do you hang out here instead of your own house? I tensed. Things are complicated at home, I said carefully. Liam's teasing softened. Complicated how? I fiddled with the cards. My parents and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. He paused, then said quietly, That's rough. You don't have to talk about it. I looked up, surprised by his sincerity. Thanks. We sat in silence for a moment, and I realized Liam wasn't joking. He just looked at me, his expression unreadable. Alright, your turn, he said, grinning. Ask me anything. I smirked. Why do you flirt so much? He grinned wider. Can't help it, it's in my DNA. Sure, I said, rolling my eyes. Leaning closer, his voice dropped to a playful whisper. But if you're asking if it's because of you, maybe. My heart skipped, and I stared at him, unsure of how to respond. Relax, Noah, he laughed, leaning back again. It's your turn now. Let's see if you can make me blush. A few days later. Over the past few days, Liam had figured out that Emma and I weren't really a couple. He hadn't confronted us, but I could feel his gaze lingering like he was piecing it all together. Still, I didn't confirm anything. It was safer this way. Even as my feelings for him grew, I couldn't risk acting on him, not with everything so complicated. The smell of garlic and onions filled the kitchen, making my stomach growl. I leaned against the counter, arms crossed, watching Liam move around with surprising ease, chopping vegetables and stirring something on the stove. "Are you always this good in the kitchen?" I teased, raising an eyebrow. Liam flashed a mischievous grin. "What can I say? I'm a man of many talents. Cooking being one of them?" I glanced at the pan. "Looks like you're making a masterpiece over there." He chuckled, glancing over his shoulder. "It's just pasta, but I appreciate the enthusiasm." He waved the spatula. "You should be thanking me. Emma says you can't cook for crap." "Hey!" I protested, playfully offended. "I'm a fine cook." Liam shook his head. "Sure, I'll believe it when I see something that doesn't come out of a microwave." I laughed, stepping closer. "Not wrong, but I make a mean grilled cheese sandwich." Liam's eyes twinkled. "Grilled cheese, huh? That's your big claim to fame?" "Oh, I'll impress you," I winked. "Just wait." Liam turned back to the stove, and a comfortable silence settled between us. I leaned against the counter, watching him, unsure if us getting closer was a good or bad thing. End of flashback. I looked at Liam in horror, pinned underneath me. I had accidentally kissed him. I'm sorry," I stammered, quickly pushing myself up. Liam chuckled softly. "It's alright. It wasn't so bad anyway." I could feel the heat rising to my cheeks just as Emma came running towards us from the living room. "What happened?" she asked, concern in her voice. "Nothing really, just an accident." Emma glanced between us, a sly grin forming on her face. "Is that so? Then I won't disturb you anymore." "Emma," I started, reaching out, but she was already gone, leaving us alone together. "Well, that was unexpected," he said with a small laugh, still lying on the floor. I nodded, my heart racing. He pushed himself up, brushing himself off. "It happens. I'm not mad at you, if that's what you're worried about." "Yeah, I guess you're right," I said, trying to laugh it off. Liam raised an eyebrow. "So you're not going to run away from me now?" I shook my head, feeling the tension slowly ebb away. "No, I don't think I'll be doing that." But even as I said that, I could feel my heart hammering in my chest, my mind racing with conflicted thoughts. I knew that kiss had changed something between us. 1 week later. Liam and I were sitting on the couch, a comfortable distance apart, but tonight felt different. The usual banter was there, but beneath it lingered an unspoken tension we both ignored. "You know," he said, his voice low, "I've always liked hanging out with you, even when you and Emma first started your thing." I swallowed, surprised by his honesty. "I didn't realize that." He smiled, disarming me with his playful yet sincere grin. "Well, now you know." A beat of silence hung between us. It felt like we were on the edge of something, but couldn't quite step forward. "Liam," I said quietly, "you're different. I didn't think you'd be this easy to talk to." His eyes flickered, vulnerability showing for a moment. "Maybe it's because I've been watching you. You're not like most people." Confused, I asked, "What do you mean?" He leaned back against the couch, his hand brushing mine for a split second. The touch sent a jolt through me. "You're real. I get the feeling you're not pretending with me." My pulse quickened. "I'm not pretending, Liam." His smile softened, becoming more intimate. "I know." Liam leaned in closer, our lips almost touching. Hesitant, but not pulling away, I leaned in too. When our lips met, it was soft and tentative, like something had shifted that was always there but never spoken. When we finally pulled away, breathless, Liam rested his forehead against mine, his hand still lightly grazing mine. "I didn't think I'd feel this way about you," he whispered. "Me neither," I breathed, not knowing where this would go, but certain of one thing: I didn't want to pull away. A few days later, Liam and I had started secretly dating. He had agreed not to tell our parents about us because of me, but I had let Emma know. As always, she was supportive and genuinely happy for us. I couldn't be happier either. Even though our relationship was a secret, being by Liam's side made everything feel perfect. I sat on the edge of Liam's bed, my heart racing as I watched him, unsure if I was dreaming or if this was really happening. Liam leaned against his desk, his eyes locked on mine with that familiar, comforting intensity. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice low, almost unsure. "I've never been more sure of anything in my life," I replied, meeting his gaze without hesitation. "I know we're keeping this a secret, but that doesn't make it any less real." Liam stepped closer, his hand brushing mine, sending a jolt of electricity through me. "It doesn't, but it makes things complicated," he said, his voice softer now. "I'm okay with that," I said, my words quiet but firm, "as long as I get to be with you." Liam finally closed the distance between us, his hand gently cupping my cheek. "I never thought I'd be the one to be in a secret relationship," he murmured, his thumb lightly stroking my skin. "But with you, I don't mind. I just need to know you're in this with me, no matter what happens." "I'm in," I whispered, before leaning forward, my lips meeting his in a soft, lingering kiss. When we pulled away, I saw the spark of something deeper in Liam's eyes, something I'd never seen before. "Good," he said, his voice steady now, with a quiet confidence. "Then let's just take it one day at a time." I smiled, feeling like this was the beginning of something beautiful, something I wasn't going to let slip away. Just as we were about to kiss again, the doorbell rang. "I'll get it," Liam said, getting up to answer. "Justin? What are you doing here?" Liam's voice was laced with surprise. A tall, muscular man stood at the door. I raised an eyebrow. "Who is this, Liam?" I asked, confused. Before Liam could respond, the man spoke up. "I'm Justin, Liam's boyfriend." My gaze shifted between them in shock, trying to process the situation. Liam's guilty expression and Justin's odd smile left me stunned. What the hell was going on? 1 hour later. I watched as Justin left the house, and soon Liam emerged from his room. He'd pulled Justin in there, and they'd been arguing for the past hour, leaving me outside. "What the hell is going on, Liam?" I asked, frustration seeping into my voice. "I'm sorry, Noah," Liam said, his voice tinged with pain. "Justin's my ex." "What? Then why is he here?" I asked, completely thrown off. "He was a very possessive person, a control freak. We broke up a few weeks ago, and I had just gotten over him before I came back home. But he came here because he wants me back," Liam explained. "What about you?" I asked, trying to process everything. "I don't want to go back, but Justin's persuasive," Liam admitted. "Well, I'm here for you," I said, stepping closer. Liam nodded, but his gaze remained conflicted, and he still wouldn't meet my eyes. A few days later. Justin was coming unannounced to Liam's home more and more and getting on my nerves. He kept pursuing Liam, even when he had already been refused multiple times. On the other hand, Liam and my relationship was on the rocks right now. "You're back," I said as Liam entered the house. I knew he'd been out with Justin again. "Yeah, sorry, I can't talk now. Tired," he mumbled and went towards his room. I blocked his path and said, "Why? Were you enjoying your time with Justin too much?" Liam looked at me in shock. "That's not true, Noah. I just went out to talk to him. Tell him to stop pursuing me." "Really? Then he could have just come home. Why did you have to go out to meet him?" I asked coldly. "Because I didn't want our conflicts to affect you," Justin cried exasperatedly. "Well, they already are. I can't see you going out with your ex again and again," I shot back. "I'm sorry, Noah. I didn't mean to ruin things between us," Liam replied, reaching for my hand. But I pulled away from him and said, "But you did ruin things between us." I then turned away from him and walked towards my room, feeling a heavy weight on my heart. A week later. Liam and I were still distant, avoiding each other's eyes when we talked. Coming home from college, I wasn't surprised to find Justin arguing with Liam again. "Just leave, Justin," Liam said firmly, though exhaustion showed in his face. "Liam, we're perfect together," Justin insisted. "No, Justin, we're not. In our relationship, there was no room for me," Liam replied, frustration clear. "Liam," Justin pressed, "I know I wasn't the partner you deserved back then, but I can be now." Liam shook his head. "Justin, you made me feel like I didn't matter." Justin stepped closer. "You matter to me, Liam. I just didn't know how to show it. I've changed, and I'm asking for one chance to prove it." Liam hesitated until he noticed me. "Noah?" Justin scoffed. "Is this who you're with now?" No one can replace me. Justin, leave, Liam said firmly. I stared at him, surprised. Liam had always seemed so confident. So why did I notice a vulnerable side of him just now? Seeing him like this, I made up my mind to comfort him, even if it was just for today. Taking his hand, I gave a gentle squeeze. Liam, you've always seemed so self-assured. I couldn't imagine you going through something like this. He looked at me in surprise, then chuckled softly, without humor. We all have weaknesses, Noah. When I was with Justin, I was at my lowest. That wasn't your fault, Liam. It was his. 3 days later. Liam and I were arguing again because of Justin. It seemed even when we tried to make up, Justin always came in between us. Liam, you need to let go of Justin, or you'll lose me, I said firmly. Noah, I thought you'll always be there for me, he replied sadly. I am, Liam, I replied in frustration, but I can't take any more of Justin, nor can I see you with him. I'm sorry, Noah, but I'm doing my best to fix this. Just be patient. I think I've been patient enough, I shot back. Really? Then you wouldn't argue with me almost every day, Liam replied, his anger rising. You keep giving me reasons to argue. I thought you were an understanding and supportive person, Noah, but I guess you're not. If that's so, then maybe we should stay away from each other, I replied angrily. Yes, we should, Liam said coldly and stormed off to his room. I stared after him, feeling a swirl of emotions and realizing I was losing him. 1 week later. I was on my way to go outside when I saw Liam slouching on the couch with his hands covering his face. I couldn't imagine him crying, but what if he was? I went to him and placed a hand on his shoulder. You okay? He looked at me in surprise and nodded slowly. I sighed. You can talk to me. I thought you wanted nothing to do with me, he replied softly. Yeah, I did. Yet, here I am. So, tell me what happened. He sighed and started. It was Justin. He said some hurtful things. I clenched my teeth in anger. I don't understand why you are enduring that guy. Just tell him to leave, and if he doesn't listen, just punch him. I always believed you were a bold person. I am, but not in front of him. Justin knows how to be manipulative. Do you want me to fight for you? I joked. You will? Liam asked in surprise. Yes. Even with us fighting, I can't see you like this, I replied softly. Thank you, Liam replied gratefully. I nodded and took a deep breath, making up my mind. Resolving to support him, I stepped closer. You've been there for me before. Now it's my turn. You don't have to face Justin alone. 2 weeks later. Slowly, even with the shadow of Justin remaining in our arguments, Liam and I had managed to grow closer in the past few weeks. We were sprawled on the couch, too lazy to move after a relaxing day spent together. Liam's head rested on my lap, eyes closed, as I absentmindedly ran my fingers through his hair. You're quiet, I said softly, breaking the silence. Liam sighed, his voice low. Just thinking about Justin. He hasn't given up. He keeps pestering me to come back. I'm sorry, I murmured. I wish I could do more. You're doing enough, he said, offering a small smile. For a while, I thought everyone was like Justin, two-faced. He was so different when we were alone. But then I met you, and everything changed. I'm glad that we managed to reconcile after all those fights. I paused, threading my fingers gently through his hair. I'm happy to be with you too. I couldn't ask for anything better. And whatever he's doing, you don't have to worry. I'm here. A genuine smile touched his lips as he reached up to intertwine his fingers with mine. I know. That's why I'm not scared anymore. Honestly, I think we've reached the point where we're just an old married couple. I smiled, but inside, something shifted. There was a calmness I hadn't felt before. And I realized it wasn't just Liam who was changing. I was too. Through all the uncertainty, I'd found the one person who made me want to be better. I wasn't scared either. I chuckled, pausing my movements briefly. If this is what it feels like, then I'm all for it. Liam smiled and turned his face to look up at me. Yeah? You wouldn't mind being stuck with me forever? Why would I mind? You're the best part of my day, I replied, my voice soft. Liam's teasing demeanor faded as he intertwined his fingers with mine. I never thought I'd end up like this, with you. I'm sorry. You don't deserve this, I said, my voice full of sincerity. But I'll always be here for you. He searched my eyes, then smiled. A real smile that made my heart skip. Leaning in, he kissed me softly. When we pulled away, he rested his forehead against mine. Good, because I'm not going anywhere either. 1 week later. I had been Liam's support through Justin's struggles, helping him find courage and always standing by him, especially when Justin was around. The situation had changed everything between us. Liam had revealed a vulnerable side, while I discovered a boldness I never knew I had, standing up for the man I loved. The tension in the room was thick. Justin stood in the doorway, smirking as if the conversation was just a game. This time, it was Liam calling the shots, ending things for good. "You're making a mistake, Liam," Justin said, voice low. "We belong together." "No, Justin, we don't," Liam replied firmly, his hand brushing mine for reassurance. Justin scoffed, looking at me. "And you're okay with this? Taking scraps of what we had?" I stood tall beside Liam, meeting his gaze. "I'm not taking anything. Liam deserves someone who values him. That's not you." Justin's smirk wavered, but he quickly recovered. "You think you're better than me?" "I don't have to be better than you," I said calmly. "I just care about him." Liam stepped forward, his grip tightened on my hand. "It's over, Justin. Let go." Justin stood there, his face a mask of frustration and unspoken emotions. It was almost as if he realized for the first time that this chapter was truly over. His voice was strained as he looked at Liam. "You'll regret this, you know. When everything falls apart, you'll come running back. You always do." Liam didn't flinch. Not this time. With a final glare, Justin stormed out, the door slamming behind him. In the silence that followed, Liam turned to me, his expression softening. "Thank you." I smiled, pulling him closer. "I'll always stand by you." Liam looked at me with a new understanding. "For so long I thought I needed Justin, but now I don't need anyone but you." I nodded, squeezing his hand. "And you never will. You're stronger than you know." As we kissed softly, I realized how much we had both changed, helping each other grow into the best versions of ourselves. From here, our future seemed brighter than ever. Another week later. I'd been staying with my parents for the past week. It wasn't like I could stay in Liam's house forever anyway. Even though I was back in my own house, it didn't feel like mine anymore. I felt more at home in Liam's place than my own. I missed him, more than I cared to admit. Lost in thought, I was lying on my bed when my parents called me downstairs. I wasn't sure what they wanted, but I knew it wouldn't be easy. "We need to talk, Noah," my dad said, his voice low and serious, making my stomach twist with anxiety. "You've been hiding something," my mom started, her voice trembling. "I don't know what you mean," I said, my voice betraying me. "We know about you and Liam," my dad said, his gaze hard. The words hit me like a punch. I don't know what you're talking about," I stammered, though I knew it was useless to deny it. "Are you ashamed of who you are?" my dad asked coldly. "No, it's just... I didn't know how to tell you," I said, fighting tears. "How can we understand this?" my father shouted. "I love him," I blurted, the words slipping out. "Liam means everything to me. I love him." I didn't want to lose them, but I couldn't change who I was. My mom's face went pale, tears welling in her eyes. "I don't know you anymore." "If that's your final decision, then fine. You're not our son anymore. Leave this house and don't come back," my father declared coldly. "You're disowning me?" I asked, my voice shaking with disbelief. "You chose to go against everything we believe. You're not our son," he replied sharply. "Mom," I said, turning to her, desperate for support. "Just leave, Noah. Don't make this harder," she said, not even facing me. I stared at them both, my heart sinking with each word. I turned away, my mind a blur as I retreated to my room. The situation with Liam's ex had, in some strange way, made me stronger and braver. When I left the house, I slammed the door behind me, the sound reverberating in the thick silence. I stood on the front porch, the weight of the moment settling over me. A storm of emotions raged inside. Anger, sadness, betrayal. But amidst it all, there was a newfound resolve. I wouldn't go back to them. I had to forge my own path, even if that meant walking it alone. 2 weeks later. I returned to my college dorm, struggling to adjust to a lonelier life than I ever imagined. Juggling multiple jobs to pay for fees and expenses while maintaining my scholarship left me exhausted. My parents hadn't called, and I'd given up hope of hearing from them. Liam and Emma had reached out countless times, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I didn't want to burden them or explain my mess. One evening, after an exhausting shift at the convenience store, I heard a familiar voice call my name. I looked up, my heart skipping a beat. Liam stood there, concern etched across his face. "What are you doing here?" I asked, stunned. "I should be asking you that," he replied, a mix of concern and frustration in his tone. "Why have you been avoiding me?" I swallowed hard, shame washing over me. I didn't know how to explain. My parents, they abandoned me. I didn't want to drag you into it or be a burden. Liam's gaze softened as he stepped closer, gently lifting my chin. He said, "You're not a burden, Noah. I care about you. Emma and I have been looking for you. You don't have to go through this alone." A lump formed in my throat. His sincerity and care hit me harder than I expected. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I thought you'd hate me for everything." He cupped my face, his voice gentle. "I could never hate you. I just want you to be okay. Let me help." Closing my eyes, I let his words sink in. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel so alone. "I'm glad you're here," I said softly. "I always will be," he replied, a warm smile spreading across his face. 1 week later. I had been staying in my college dorm for the past week, and Liam kept visiting me. He had already told his parents everything, and unlike my own, they were incredibly supportive. They'd even offered to help with my college expenses. After a few refusals, I finally gave in. I was truly grateful for their kindness and for Liam's unwavering love. I was studying in my dorm when I was shocked to receive a call from my mom. Hello?" I hesitantly said on the phone after picking up the call. "Noah, my son, how are you?" my mother exclaimed. "I'm fine, but why are you calling me?" I asked coldly. "I'm sorry, son. In fact, I and your dad both sincerely apologize for what we did. You didn't deserve that. Please come back to us," she said. "Wow, you call me out of nowhere and want me back, after disowning your only son," I shouted. "Noah, we couldn't understand you at that time," Mom tried to explain, but I wasn't ready to believe a word they said. "I know you're not calling suddenly because you feel guilty. It's because I finally found a family that loves and supports me, right? And now you're afraid you'll lose me forever." "Well, you already did," I shot back. "Noah, that's not true," my mother stammered. "You tell me what's the truth then. But I bet you can't. Goodbye. Please only call me next time when you actually feel guilty," I said, and ended the call before my mom could speak. A few weeks later, Liam convinced me to move back to his house for the semester break. In the past weeks, I've only survived due to Liam's and his family's support and love. My parents kept calling again and again after that day, begging for forgiveness, but I wasn't ready to forgive them right now. "You idiot!" Emma exclaimed, wrapping me in a tight hug before playfully punching me. "I'm sorry, Emma. I deserve this," I mumbled, feeling guilty. Emma forgave me, and we chatted, slipping back into our old rhythm like no time had passed. Liam joined us, and I learned that Emma was seeing someone now, and this time it was the real deal. I was happy for her, just as she had always supported me. After a while, Liam and I decided to step outside for a walk. "So, how are you?" Liam asked softly. "My parents reached out, asking for forgiveness and for me to come back. I don't know what to do," I admitted. "What? Why are they contacting you again? And you didn't tell me?" he said, a flicker of hurt in his eyes. "I'm sorry. I wanted to. I just didn't know how. I guess after seeing me become close with your family, they felt they were going to lose me forever and wanted me back," I replied quietly. "So, you gonna go back to them? You promised you wouldn't leave me, and yet you did," he said. "I know. I thought you wouldn't want me, but now I know better. And there's no way I'm gonna go back to them after they abandoned me," I said, reaching for his hand. "This time, I won't leave again." Then, after a pause, I added, "Maybe I could give a chance to them in the future, if they seem genuine." "I'm with you in whatever you choose," he said, pulling me close. "No matter what happens, I'm here for you." A small smile tugged at my lips as my heart swelled. "You're incredible, Liam," I whispered. "You'll never have to be without me," he said, brushing a lock of hair from my face. I smiled with resolve. and I'll be there for you, always." I leaned in close to him, kissing him softly. He kissed me back deeply and passionately, as if he were afraid I might disappear. I realized that, no matter what had happened in the past, we both had something now that we never had before: unconditional love and support, and that was enough. Liam and I moved in together after college, settling into a small rented apartment. I had been waiting for this day for so long, and being by his side made everything feel perfect. Liam's parents continued to support me throughout college, and I graduated with flying colors. I even landed my dream job. Emma kept dating the guy she met in college and eventually moved near our apartment with her boyfriend, just so they could be close to us. We had small get-togethers at each other's homes on weekends, and I couldn't have been happier, feeling like I was finally part of a family. My parents reached out several times after college, and while I had started talking to them again, I didn't forgive them completely for everything they had done. Liam and I spent our days teasing each other, finding joy in the small, everyday moments. He was the chef while I handled the cleanup, but he made sure to teach me a few things along the way. Our relationship had deepened over time, and it wasn't about grand gestures. It was the quiet moments that made everything feel special. We had built a life together, one of understanding, love, and true companionship. Liam was not only my partner, but my best friend, always there when I needed him. In those simple moments, like laughing together in the kitchen, I realized how lucky I was. No matter the challenges, being with him was all I needed. Together, we had built not just a home, but a future. The end. Would you have forgiven Noah's parents if you were in his shoes? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of our Rainbow Force and stay wholesome.